This is not. This
It
is
goes
not a
straight
tip.
to bosses.
This
or
is not a tip.
straight to camp.
That one's really good. You should definitely check that one out. We're gonna go to the next battleground between LFM and Team Freedom, and that one is Infernal Shrines. This is, I think, the first time Freedom has actually picked Shrines. Though, people have taken Freedom to it, and they've still been strong there. But I think it is the first time that we've seen Freedom be willing to pick it in Phase 2, despite them being a Shrines team, for sure.
The changes to the XP on those fort walls was enough to change the strategy. We've seen some changes in the meta overall. But I think that part in particular was one of the more drastic changes to their playstyle. That's how they got early game leads on this map. It's how some of the best teams did it globally. You just took out fort walls in the early game during that first Punisher phase, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm up a level, I'm up 2 levels, good luck catching up. And since the changes, it has not been that easy.
Right. It is a lot different, as well as a lot of our maps. Pretty much, you know, every single one. Looking at that big change that came in. There's another big change, though, and that's the 3rd ban. And for what we saw in the last game, I realized that Anubarak fills a similar role for LFM, and Fury being able to set up kills with the rest of the team. I just feel like he is so much more punished, and Team Freedom is saying this match, at least that game, they are more than willing to punish those kinds of things. I'm hoping that although generally what we see from LFM is a lot more focused on the solo lane, and then later on responding to what is there with the tank pick, because Fury does have a very flexible pool, I'm hoping that maybe we see them prioritize Muradin a bit higher.
Johanna on this map, I wonder who's willing to go into that.
They never played Johanna.
Alex Straza, however, is a different story.
Hey.
So Team Freedom picked this map. LFM, I think this might be a first pick Alex Straza game.
I think you're probably right. If she makes it through bans. She has been rising higher and higher through the skies of our matches this weekend due to that Lifebinder change. But is it enough to ban her here? Because there's so many things to consider, like the Hanzo of the last game, and I do believe that is a favorite still for Freedom on Infernal Shrines. Yeah, they did play it here. They also played Jaina here too.
I always wonder when, it's not a matter of if anymore, but when we'll get the famed Nasmus Diva. I have missed it. And I want to see how she fits in our current meta.
Okay.
If there's one player that I know that has historically played it, it is Nasmus.
Also Justing.
Yeah, those are weird curse strategies. So I don't even, that was more like, we're going to surprise you. For Nasmus, though, it was always a matter of like, look what I can do. And it always takes me back to mid-season brawl last year when, was it Nomia? When Fat94 shows up and he brings Diva to Infernal Shrines and you just kind of divide and conquer with the mech explosion. I was like, oh my goodness, this is really strong. And we saw it multiple times last year.
Though this would maybe be a series, you could argue Team Freedom might bring back some of those more comfortable strategies so that they can hide things versus Octalis is next week. I still feel like with the importance placed on individual games, we're not going to see any funny business from Freedom, but I could be wrong.
But for Nasmus, it's not funny business.
I know. But it's like it's a
explosion.
It's not such a cut and dry pick as some of the other things like Urel.
Well, you know where you can go and hide during an explosion? In a bunker.
Oh, okay. I see. That's what we're okay.
Blaze is nada.
Well, clearly Blaze means a diva and not just the fact that he is objectively a very strong hero.
Look, I got Cho'Gall last night. Just let me get my diva today.
Oh.
Alex Straza, Raynor. Raynor was let through. Still need to work on that level 13 talent. But either way, 13 talents, Raynor, a little bit of giddy up action.
And Alex Straza, you've got Pacify, you can get some armor, you can get Life Unbound healing. Everyone has 13 talents. It's a great thing about heroes. Except Chromie, it's at 11.
On certain heroes, they're just better talents than others.
Let's keep this great analysis going. Like, it's really good. No, Urel, yes, love this from LFM. They put Muradin higher after that Diablo ban. I got a little bit scared when I saw a Diablo ban, And then not Murden getting picked up, but they wanted to make sure to get that solo lane, especially with Blaze being banned. So now getting Yrel, Murden, and Hanzo, the Yrel Murden combo is very strong. I'm pumped. This looks good for LFM.
Deckard banned out, has a lot of control in choke points, can lock people down. Also has the Emerald, which we've seen used against Alex Strauss at healing points.
Even just Scroll of Sealing. I feel like he's a strong counter, support-wise to Alex. So he'll be the ban. LFM take away Johanna, they've taken away Diablo, so a lot of what Zagrug might be looking to do. What are you feeling here?
I don't know. The scariest part for me is ETC I don't think fits in right now. Control style, Garrosh definitely fits that role.
Sometimes we see some playtime for Freedom, but they'll get ETC here.
It's not a bad pick, it just requires a different play style, and this is night and day. And a Raynor Jaina, ETC likes to be aggressive and dive. He can control an area strictly off of his face melt. But the minute face melt is down, you become a priority target to be engaged upon.
But a lot of point control with the threat of Mosh, and now you have Jaina slows to enable Raynor's ace in the hole. That is such a deadly backline combination for Team Freedom, but you talk about deadly. And LFM brings Maiev back. She has been notoriously absent from a lot of our drafts, Jay-How.
Showed up a little bit in EU earlier. Does do well to dive onto backlines. Leoric will be the pickup.
Was it Nasmus who wrecked a team with an Entomb? I think it was Tomb of the Spider Queen. He has a good Leoric. He's pretty much the only solo laner in NA who's even willing to run Leo, it feels.
Leo fell off January 2018.
It was a dark day, January 23rd, 2018.
Yeah, McIntyre will tell you all about it.
When all hope was lost, as McIntyre died one too many times on his Leoric.
Said it ruined his KDA for the entire season. All in one series.
Guess what?
New season!
It's a new season!
We'll take a look at those stats later, McIntyre. Leoric, strong pickup. He can deal with being tethered by Maiev, has self-sustain. The Maiev pickup, there's a lot for Maiev to do. You can get the tethers. You know where that healing is going to be. So you can warp on over there, blink on over, grab a few targets, bring them back in. And even if you want to bully the front line of ETC, just tether him backwards, force him to power slide out, and their engagement opportunities are gone. So
maybe more reliant on that Entomb of Nasmus. We'll find out. We're going to Infernal Shrines. LFM having to face a lot of wrath from Team Freedom in that last game. We'll see if they are better prepared this one. Leoric also brings in more slows for Raynor too. That is
even in death. That's trait value right there.
Something we here in NA love to talk about.
RIP.
F.
All in chat. All up and down. Everywhere. Even more of them.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
Still more. All right, here we go. Our bots are gonna love us. Fury set up on that Muradin, ready to deliver the first Stormbolt of many. I think he will be feeling a lot more comfortable here on this Muradin. Now, not that he can't play a new Barak, but just they have shown so much Muradin play and so much great follow-up to those Stormbolts. Figgy sticking right there with Fury so that he can be the follow-up. It's interesting to see Figgy flex over to the Hanzo, but Droplets will be playing that Maiev, necessitating that.
If you can bring somebody into your team that is capable of playing Maiev, she's been nerfed a lot, balanced. I think she still has a small place. Hanzo, of course, does do a lot on the shrine. So let the playmakers do their thing. Are you surprised at all? We've seen a lot of Q build from Alex Straza at level 1. But since we have Globe talents for both ETC and Jaina, Slutano, he's not making it out of here. There's no way. This is actually going to be... Yeah, I bet he wishes that was level 16. He's going to be the first to fall.
As far as not having the Abundance build, and Abundance... Can he...
You know,
is he...
what there's not an abundance of is the Aware's Health.
Yeah. But he had waited it out. He was slowly burning to death. That is never a way to go. But thankfully, he got his cooldown for his heal back up. I am a little bit surprised, even just considering the fact that it's shrines anyway. But I do think that that is because you become more reliant on that one build. This way, she has options, which you have with Life Blossom. You generally, of course, you want to get the flower, but you don't have to take it. You're going to have Exuberance, which now you have at level 4, and this is going to help her try to not be a person that ends up in the bind, because like you had talked about, bind, when you see that heal on the ground, is pretty terrifying for an Alex Straza, especially because if you get pulled out of things like cleansing, which hasn't been the thing, or just in general, Alex Straza doesn't want to be there.
Once the big dragon comes down in return, Dragon Queen or post level 10, unless we get another Life Binder game, which seems to be new meta, then yeah, Medivh's life becomes a bit more terrifying for herself. As we'll get the first shrine underway here in about 5 seconds.
We're seeing the Aegis of Light pick up at level 4 over Gift of the Naru for Swabs, and I like the implications of that to go along with a Maiev, trying to give her even more of the armor. May see Armored Assault. It hasn't been as popular as 16, but if you're able to keep that armor consistently up and that she has that positive armor being able to have the increased damage, we'll have to see. There was also a nerf to the level 16 that NA Maiev players were taking a lot in Phase 1, so we'll find out later on down the road. For now, the first shrine has started, J-How.
LFM is off to a phenomenal start. So Team Freedom, there's going to be the tether. They're going to fight back, but they find themselves down still quite a few of these skeletal defenders. As we'll see LFM, they're going to tap, they're going to re-engage, see if they can complete this as Dragon Queen has worn off. Zugrug making space. He's on the front line, being targeted though. Freedom is taking a lead, Gilly.
Ooh, double tether and Swaps jumped down, forcing Nasmus to Wraith walk away. Fury is not letting him get out of here, not without a fight. Stormbolt hits, Fury takes down a second kill. Punisher grabbed, Yoda falls to a Vindication. And with that, the Punisher is claimed by Team Freedom, but LFM gets a double kill.
This is always the scariest shrine when you see the composition that Team Freedom is running. To get in there, it's always risky. You have the Maiev, the Muradin on the other side, the Yrel. So fighting into that can be risky. They took the risk. They got the reward of the Punisher. Did pay for it, though, with two lives.
Nasmus is hanging out inside the laser beams of that Arcane Punisher, just seeing if he can ensure the front wall, which he does in the top. So Team Freedom still get what is generally accepted as enough structural damage off of that first Punisher, but are slightly behind in experience, and this game already looks a whole lot better than the last game did at this point in time for LFM.
Yeah, there was something down by like 5 or 6 kills to 0 at this point. Fury is going to find Nasmus. There's going to be a Stormbolt landing. Get some damage for Fury. 2 of those Stormbolts he's landed did confirm kills a few seconds later, so he's got 20 on his baseline, 14 on his level 1, so just a few more away from getting that pierce, allowing that to stack up a little bit quicker.
Well, Team Freedom made some excellent rotations, as they are wont to do on Infernal Shrines, that got some more damage done to towers in front of other forts for LFM, as well as working on mercenary camps. As long as LFM can continue to keep up an experience and match Team Freedom, then it lets them ensure that they get to the shrines either ahead of Team Freedom or at the same time. And with the good clear that they showed us last time, having to use the Dragon Queen early in the last shrine is the big reason why LFM could re-engage once it was done and get the kills that they did, even though they did lose the Punisher. And LFM, they end up getting that bottom camp and one in the mid. The mid's going to be cleared by Team Freedom, but the bot, this lets LFM get some sieging done. Zugger gets pulled out of the gate, but he'll make it back. LFM just trying to work their way toward getting heroics.
Every ounce of experience counts. The next shrine will be in the middle. Nobody prioritizing that just yet. There was a camp picked up by LFM, but their focus is clear here in the bottom. 10 picked up, rotation mid. See if they can capitalize on that camp. Instead, they're gonna sit. Gank opportunity potential, just a moment.
Well, Jay Howe, we've got a Bloodlust.
Oh, okay.
Bloodlust with Maiev?
With Maiev, Hanzo,
for
his
sure.
super slow autos.
Yeah.
Murden, go do work is what they're saying.
Miran's Insight, gonna get some value for Ural. Still thinking about what Maiev's gonna pick here. Let's take a look at Team Freedom. Water Elemental is going to allow for more slow applications for Jaina. Now there's a Hyperion over Shrines. The Shrine control for Team Freedom gets a whole lot worse. Though there is no Cleansing Flame, sticking with Lifebinder, there's the threat of a Mosh Pit, and now an Entomb for Nasmus. That was Vault!
Vault's there, there's the power slide, there's the Mosh Pit. No stun follow-up just yet. I think that was used elsewhere. Droplets puts down the Warden's cage, gets the tether, but he loses his life in the process. Zugrug, he's just gonna hang out. He's got a Water Elemental watching his back. Swab's forced to jump out. Now Zugrug and team have taken over the shrine.
Yeah, you force that early of a Vault right by Leoric, he will drop an Entomb on you, and that is a low cooldown heroic ability. But the follow-up Mosh Pit behind that was absolute perfection for Team Freedom. We were fighting back, and now are sitting pretty at 19 Skeletal Defenders over this mid-shrine. Collusion looks to be the target. That Skeletal Defender, so annoying, ate the stun. Collusion will hop into Dragon Queen form just to ensure that Team Freedom get this win.
Good old-fashioned body block there. Skeletal Defenders.
The true hero.
Yeah, Michael Udall did it the other day on Karazim. Skeletal Defender says, watch this.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's gonna make it to the top of Reddit.
hold my axe. No, that play by Mike was amazing.
Yeah. Hyperion pushing forward, helping to confirm structure damage, also zoning out all of LFM. They're moving forward. Jump from the Punisher. There it is. So they have a chance to fight, but the fort has fallen. Team Freedom, they're going to walk away. Nice space melt by Zugrug, buying some space.
He knew Droplets was setting up to start the Umbral Bind and have the follow-up from the Stormbolt too. LFM started off strong in this game, but losing people at the start of that Shrine phase was about worst case scenario because they lost people, they lost objective, they lost a structure. Now Droplets needs to be careful or else they'll lose some more staggered deaths. LFM though, they're not too far behind in experience. Catch back up. They know where Team Freedom are. They can look to try to get a fight forced so that they can still be in a good position in this game in experience.
One thing that we're seeing from Alex Strazza at level 13 to deal with the potential tethers and damage to protect the front line is Life Unbound. 90-second cooldowns. We get some damage here onto Nasmus. Zugrug.
That choke is
Everybody's
far
like,
too
we should
scary.
get out of here.
Not the place to fight. I am fairly certain that was the place that LFM ended up losing a game last week, that exact same choke point.
Yoda right there got tethered, hooked himself right around the wall, but we've got a three-man
Lovely.
Dragon Arrow. Bloodlust is out, but the Mosh Pit in return catches two members. Warden's cage is there, missing the mark just outside of range. Swabs in super deep. Does have the Ardent Defender. He's healing up.
Well, a good way to stop Bloodlust damage is to have Ominous Wraith and the damage reduction of Nasmus on his Leoric. Though I want to shout out the start of that engagement from LFM. It was so strong. Swabs on one side got this initial jump. The slows from that set up for a Dragon's Arrow, and LFM piled in a true old-fashioned dog pile with the Warden's Cage too. But with that damage reduction, with everything else Team Freedom was able to do, the mosh pit on the back line that stopped a lot of the damage. LFM just didn't get the kills they needed with that fight.
Now we see LFM taking away the Shaman camp from Team Freedom. That's enabled Team Freedom to simply move down. They took the fort from LFM in that bot lane, got some damage in on that keep wall, and the experience was much closer a moment ago. That fort and that extra bit of damage just propelled Team Freedom to potentially being 16 during the next Shrine phase. And LFM, if you're late to the party, I think fortunate for them, that's actually going to start here in 25 seconds. But if you're late to the party against an Alex Straza on Shrines, it's tough to come back.
Well, LFM have somewhat of an opening here, as the Shrine will be activating in 10 seconds, and Freedom don't have that 16 yet. They have a camp top working on bringing down Hanzo from that. So we'll see what they can do here.
So no 16 for Team Freedom to start this. So LFM fighting on even footing. They get it started, have a small lead. You know the Hyperion is a thing. The threat of a Zugrug mosh pit is there. Fury goes in deep to start this, Gilly.
Stormbolt's dodged. Ardent Defender used. 16 almost here. Freedom feeling confident enough to get on this point anyway. But one heroic ability that could start a fight for Freedom was avoided. That Entomb not catching LFM in the way Freedom might have wanted. Here it is, LFM goes back in with the Bloodlust. A mosh pit hits a couple, but Swaps knocks him out of it.
Now we've got the Warden's Cage on the backside of Team Freedom, locking down multiple members, but Team Freedom fighting back. Swabs, no Ardent Defender, so he's got to jump out of there. Fury trying to survive, but all the damage coming out in return from Team Freedom has overwhelmed LFM, and that's going to secure another Punisher, and that work they did just a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago by taking down the bottom fort and getting some damage done to the keep wall. Now makes this Punisher even scarier.
Yeah, one tower down. Zugrug can try to follow up. And Entomb is back. Entomb is one of the best ways to lock down someone after the Punisher leap. Punisher leap there. A great stun. Fury stuns Nasmus, knows he's gonna, wow. That's just wow. That was awesome.
See if they can hold. There'll be another jump in about 6 or 7 seconds. Nasmus eating a lot of damage, missed his drain life.
That's great.
Lifebinder did not activate, got placed on cooldown for it could have an effect as Leoric fell.
That's great for LFM. They lost the keep, yes, but they didn't lose any more than that, J-How.
Ooh, that camp they picked up before that Shrine. Done a lot of work here in the top lane.
Well, Freedom lost their Nasmus, but if there's anyone you're going to lose, you want it to be Leoric. Pops back up, can cheat death. Keeping tabs on LFM as they make their march across the map. Camp did take down those keep towers, which, experience-wise, LFM again finds themselves in a place where they can look for opportunities for themselves, set themselves up, maybe even get more, because they're looking at a double camp, which we saw them do earlier on in this game. And when they did, they pushed down in the bottom along with the camp. Now they're going to go back and get a double camp in the mid so they can have a big siege here.
They need to just get some structures down. They're not far behind in experience. Everything at this point. Pretty significant value. Curious what Team Freedom's positioning is going to be. Because that Shaman camp for LFM did so much work in that top lane, the next Punisher is in the top lane. That top fort still very healthy on the side of LFM. So if Team Freedom opts to grab this top right camp early and push with it, it'd be a way for them to at least get some experience, but set up a potential win condition through that top lane. But as noted, a lot of teams right now are using that Shaman camp, not for early pushes when it's the top shrine, but just for lane control when that shrine spawns.
Right, I think that makes a lot of sense too from looking at LFM's composition and how much they've been flanking with the Urel, with the Maiev too. Had they left that, I would have understood wanting to just make sure that they have control over that lane so that there's less of a way that they go in, but as it is now, they feel confident they might be able to get something done. LFM already knows what's up. They're here in the top lane. They're ready to defend it so that they can, overall else, keep alive a lot of these, or keep the structures alive here, especially the fort, but also the well.
Oh,
Jaina, that time, the jump in and the pincer attack of LFM pays off with not 1 kill, but 2.
Bloodlust. Entomb's gonna lock down a couple of targets, but not for long. ETC and Jaina. Jaina went pop. Just instantly. Fury came in with the flank, brought down the hammer with 25 seconds with this shrine spawning. LFM now has the chance to get the Punisher and push down a keep lane of their own.
And when you were talking about using that camp to push early, that would have given the opportunity for LFM to take a fight that would get them back in this game. And that's exactly what LFM did. Now LFM not only wants to take one fight, they want to force some staggered deaths. They've got a gank squad going. Not getting it on collusion, they'll turn their sights to Nasmus. But falling low was the aware.
Call me surprised though, that gank was great. But if they get an early start on that Punisher, it all but guarantees a keep and a win condition.
Catapult.
Now, all of Team Freedom is back. The catapult's mounting bottom, and LFM, they have to take another team fight here.
Yeah, it was slow to start up here, really hoping that they could get the staggered deaths. That is a lot of people inside that entomb, something that Zagrug is hoping to take advantage of if he can. Fury avatars staying alive for the moment, but the burst of damage of Yoda is too much, along with Lutano, and they fire back, taking out Muradin. Catapults are on core in the bottom lane of LFM. Someone has to go back to defend. Both Swabs and Rhaegar are going back.
That's a missed opportunity. They missed out on about 10 seconds of time. And if you're sitting at 10 extra seconds on this, you're sitting at 28-30, then Team Freedom has to take a desperation fight. You can still win out on the shrine. Now they give up the shrine. They don't get a keep down in that top lane. The gank attempt mid might come back and bite them in the long run. As LFM, they have a tough defense ahead of them.
They still have 20 for that defense, but a few heroic abilities down, namely their big survivable heroics for the front line, which makes them a lot bigger of a target, especially seeing Bounty Hunter and the Numbing Blast for more lockdown of Jaina. Now heroic abilities are here too for Team Freedom, and Buried Alive is such a threat on those frontliners. With the silence of the Entomb, Droplets baits, it was a good bait of the leap so that LFM can get some damage on this Punisher. They're going to lose a keep here.
Keep, yes. 1 kill could lead to 2, could lead to game, and that would be core. Nasmus, look for him on the Leoric. Zagrug, the potential mosh pit, buried alive.
Whoops.
He's stuck. The mosh pit's gonna lock down 1 while the action is on this Warden's Cage on the left here.
And the Bloodlust too. The cleanse from the Aware saved Swabs' life. The Life Binder and a power slide. Maiev killed by Zagrug. The rest of the team now on the core with no Maiev left. A lot of the damage gone for LFM, but the Punisher's almost gone too. They're trying to hang in if they can, get a jump. Looking at Lutano as someone to take out. That Rainer damage, if they could take it off of core, would be so much, but the Aware and Swabs continue to be low. A Numbing Blast locks down Urel. Finally, she goes down. So too does Leoric. Lutano and Team Freedom keep kiting around LFM. They have the Rainer Heroic Hyperion back on the core now. That should be enough.
Zagrug, no matter if he falls or not, that is... Go back to that missed mid lane gank and see what it led to here. Because it ended up being a Punisher, ended up being the fort, the keep, and the whole shebang after that, which ended up being the core. LFM, it looks strong, very, very strong, with Hanzo Figgy destroying that of Team Freedom, but they struggled, I think, towards that later part of the game.
Late game shot calling has been an issue that's plagued quite a few of our NA teams this phase, at the beginning of this phase. Some teams having just phenomenal early games. LFM is one of them, but LFM did have some very good comebacks in their earlier series versus Simplicity, so they do find themselves down 0-2. I don't think this is a death sentence for them even in this match, because they have been able in both games to bring fights to Team Freedom. It's just they fell so massively behind in the first game. This game looked a lot better for LFM. I think that they can get games or start the reverse sweep, but it's all about mentality from this point on, knowing that it would have to be a reverse sweep.
Especially against Team Freedom.
Right.
They are so good at finding ways to come back. They know how to manipulate the map. They know how to force rotations. This one, they came back. They took the fight that they needed to take. They killed Fury as he was trying to escape. And it was just too much. One kill in that situation was all it took for Team Freedom to find their way back in, and they find themselves up 2-0 because of it.
Well, with that, we'll head to a commercial break. When we come back, Game 3 between LFM and Team Freedom.